Doubters will look at your dreams as if they are impossible because they themselves haven't put in the effort to believing it's possible. So during my YouTube journey, I have received a lot of doubts from some people that are pretty close to me. So this video is for anyone out there dealing with the doubters, and even I doubt myself sometimes too. It's in times like these where these next tips have really helped me get back on track with my goals. So I want to help you build confidence in yourself once again. And no, I did take some reference ideas from another video by a guy named Clark Kegley, so I will link his video down in the description. Tip number 1, show up for yourself. Imagine you were with a friend and you promised you would be there for a girls' night out dinner. Between the time of making the promise of being there and actually showing up, what are the choices you are actively making to make sure that the promise is kept? Would you start making excuses of why you didn't show up, or would you start preparing what you're going to bring as a meal, or maybe planning what your outfit is? Now think of making that promise to yourself. Would you break the promise to yourself as you would for your friend? Would you start making excuses? Now, understandably, life and emergencies does happen, but how often do they actually happen? If emergencies are popping up in your life too often, maybe there are other things that you should be looking at in order to reduce the likelihood or have backup plans. Which leads me to taking accountability. Accountability is something I think we all struggle with at some point. We wish it was just the fault of something or somebody else. Like, I didn't get out of bed because it was cloudy and rainy outside. Or, if only that car didn't cut me off, I wouldn't have been 5 minutes late to work. It is so easy nowadays to shift blame onto something other than ourselves. Like I said before, there are always going to be inconveniences in life, but what can you actually do about it? You can only better prepare yourself so that you don't make excuses, and you can actually execute on a task or something of equal impact. Therefore, keeping the promise to yourself, which is a great transition for why you should be keeping promises to yourself. Tip number 2, trust yourself. When building your self-confidence, it is so important to build trust with yourself. You can finding activities on a daily basis that you can actually follow through with. Maybe you can't commit to an hour of the gym every single day, but you can commit to a 15-minute stretching video. You need to be setting your goals just above the line of discomfort, and not so much that you burn out after one day. You need to be able to build trust with yourself. Trust that you can complete a task. But once you start to feel comfortable in the progress, that's when you need to move up to the next level. So you just get better and better and build more and more confidence with yourself that you have completed the last threshold. The opposite of trust is doubt. When others start to doubt you, it's probably because they don't have enough information on the whole situation, or they just don't trust the idea because they themselves have never tried it, or think that it involves too much risk. Doubters will look at your dreams as if they are impossible because they themselves haven't put the effort into believing it's possible. That's why it's so important not to let other people define whether you go after your goal or not. Because sure, you may take some wrong turns or go down the wrong path every once in a while, but that's just building more experience and building more trust with yourself that you can get through the difficult times. I used to and still get upset when people that I love the most start to doubt me. On the other hand, I also forget that they are just not familiar with this type of technology, or even more so, how to use technology, especially when creating an online business. They just think it's some sort of a scam. They doubt the ideas of others doing it, so they don't trust the idea of me doing it. They want to protect me from failure, but I've done extensive research for so many years on my goal. So this is me just coming out of the shell and just going for it. What do I have to lose? I trust myself enough that even if I do make a mistake or don't quite get it figured out, that eventually I will. Tip number 3. Know who you are as a person. Don't go solely based off of other people's opinions. For example, a comment I frequently get is on my resting face. I have had multiple random people come up to me and say, "Hey, don't you ever smile?" Or "Try to be happy for once." True story, by the way. I get a lot of creeps like that at my work. Because on the inside, I know that I am completely content, very focused or just trying to get to my next location efficiently because I work in a very large building. If anything, some of the times that I have the most dull or intense look on my face is actually when I'm very focused or that I'm processing something internally that's very important to me. Even my husband assumes that sometimes I'm angry when I really am just processing something internally or focusing on editing a video or focused on something that is important to me. The point here is that I know myself. I know what goes on in my brain. And sometimes my body doesn't project that to the outside, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from getting my deep work done. I trust myself, know the difference between when I'm in my zone or when I actually am upset. It's not that I have an angry or sad face all the time. It's because I have a resting, focused, and determined face. If you really want to get to know yourself, just do 5 to 10 minutes of some daily reflection or journaling. What was that one comment earlier in the day that kind of set you off? Was it true to what you know to be true about yourself? Keep in mind, no opinion is right or wrong. It's an opinion. It's a point of view. With one situation, there can be millions of points of views. So don't take one person's point of view too personally. Use that as an opportunity to reflect and reinforce who you truly are. Realign yourself with your values and morals, your personality, and interests. Tip number 4. Self-talk. How do you talk about yourself now, and how do you talk about yourself in the future? Are you thinking to yourself, I will never achieve my goal in 2 years? Or are you thinking, how can I achieve my goals in 2 years? Are the things you're saying to yourself negative or positive? And this also loops back into trusting yourself. Are you telling yourself that when you run into a problem, you're going to absolutely mess it up? Or are you going to take accountability and say, hey, if I do mess up, it's going to be okay because I know I can figure out a way to get through it. A way you can become more mindful about how you're talking to yourself, again, is by journaling. What problem arrived and how did you confront it? How did you confront yourself? How did you feel about what happened or what was said? Do you start to go down the rabbit hole of negatively talking to yourself? Building confidence is a skill, and one that does not take overnight to accomplish. It's taken me many years. And it's not necessarily an end goal either. It's a progressive goal that as you keep building more of, there will always be a chance for you to do a little bit better. In a healthy way, of course. I encourage everybody to be brave and step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Build yourself up first. Build your self-confidence up first, so then you can build the others around you. If you want to hear a little bit more about me starting my YouTube journey, you can go check out this video over here. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one.